Victoria's birthday, Britain and her colonies celebrate Empire Day.
Stand your feet and give 3 cheers. Get free meat and get free beers if you love to join the Empire Party. They'll make you feel at home, and if they can't get you all inside the Empire, they'll put you in the Hippodrome.
School children are bombarded with imperial propaganda. In Bolton, they are asked to name their empire heroes.
I think Christopher Columbus was the finest man that ever lived, because he discovered the West Indies, where we get spices and fruit and other things. And if he hadn't proved that the earth was round, the empire would only consist of England, Scotland and Wales.
I think Gandhi is the most courageous man. He fasts and walks about in India. Gandhi has his hair shaven off and never lets it grow. He doesn't think it's right. He is still alive.
In 1938, as Adolf Hitler threatens to build his own European empire, patriotic enthusiasm in Britain reaches its zenith. Glasgow hosts an empire exhibition. It attracts over 12.5 million visitors.
I'm having a great time. There's a huge amusement park here, and yesterday I spent 6 shillings on amusements alone.
We did the Dominions. The Mounties were interesting, but shorter than those in the films. The teachers took us to see the giraffe-necked women. We already knew a lot about the foreigners from our book, Life in Many Lands.
They must have known just how I like it. Everything's coming my way.
Facing the threat of war with Germany, King George VI and Queen Elizabeth visit their dominion Canada to rally support for Britain. Thousands of subjects pay tribute to their imperial king and queen. In Calgary, Canadian Prime Minister William Mackenzie King.
The Indian chiefs were, for the most part, fine-looking men, and in their full costume, very colourful. I had a first-rate talk with the Queen. She spoke about their courtesy and graceful bearing, and their erect ways. She remarked they were very like the Scotch in some respects.
The timing of the royal visit has not gone unnoticed. A telegram from Sir Neville Henderson, British ambassador to Berlin.
The visit of their Majesties to Canada has been given full publicity in the German press. They are at pains to create the impression that all is not well within the empire. It was believed that the king would very soon travel to India to receive the imperial crown. That their Majesties have visited Canada instead is a sign that London is trying to establish the political security of the mother country by coordinating the Anglo-Saxon element in Canada and the USA.
Canada's loyalty to the crown is secured. For the second time in 25 years, Britain and her empire will unite to fight a world war.
The Prime Minister of Australia, Right Honourable R.G. Menzies.
Fellow Australians, it is my melancholy duty to inform you officially that in consequence of a persistence by Germany in her invasion of Poland, Great Britain has declared war upon her, and that as a result, Australia is also at war.
Troops from all over the British Empire mobilize for the Second World War. Almost 1 million men from Australia and New Zealand, over 700,000 from Canada, 600,000 from Africa, and 2.5 million from India. The dominions and colonies remain loyal, but there is less of the patriotic fervour of the First World War. Government Minister Oscar Skelton.
It is very doubtful if a majority of the people of Canada would have voted for war. There's a feeling that this is not our war, that the British government, who blundered into it, should have been allowed to blunder out.
Soldiers from Burma and India are trained for war in the Far East. 19-year-old Kishan Tawari.
My father's friend, Colonel Kilroy, insisted he must send 2 of his 5 sons into the army. Some members of our family said, why should we join the army and fight on the British side? We want independence.
From New Zealand, troops are sent to fight in the Middle East. A Maori soldier writes a farewell letter to his wife.
Dad and Ringi came to see us off, and I felt very lumpy in the throat when they left. I'm glad you weren't there. Mrs. Waka and a whole lot of other wives followed the train. All they could do was wave. I felt a funny sinking feeling. E nahora, goodbye.
The wealth of empire is mobilized for war. Canada supplies vital food and munitions to the mother country. Gwen Lambton works the night shift in a weapons factory in Ontario.
We punch the time clock at 7:30 and work a 10-hour shift, so we don't get out till 6 a.m. We are issued with cotton overalls which cover our clothes. You don't even have to wear stockings, although it's cold without. There is a constant hum of machines, and a loudspeaker near the ceiling trumpets popular music in march time to keep us awake. The songs have nothing to do with our work or the war.
To boost morale, Britain's Prime Minister Winston Churchill broadcasts across the Atlantic.
Canada occupies a unique position in the British Empire. We have suffered together and we shall conquer together.
The Canadian people share many of the hardships of the British home front. Rosemary Ridge writes to friends in London.
No doubt you have heard of our rationing here. We get half a pound of sugar and 4 ounces of coffee per week. That's cutting it pretty stiff, but if the folks in Britain can survive and still smile, why can't we? Keep the old spirit soaring. Mom Ridge.
Tonight, I speak to you in Australia and New Zealand, for whose safety we will strain every nerve. I speak to you all under the shadow of a heavy and far-reaching military defeat. It is a British and imperial defeat. Singapore has fallen.
February 1942. Britain's empire in the Far East has collapsed with shameful speed. Australia is exposed. Minesweepers patrol the coast. Troops are recalled from the Middle East. Australians brace themselves for a Japanese invasion. Their new Prime Minister, John Curtin.
The fall of Singapore is a smashing blow to British prestige. It opens the battle for Australia just as Dunkirk opened the battle for Britain. No longer may we depend on external support.